Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
John Archiquette.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Matt Turner.
I'm not afraid.
And Joshua Gray.
You will be.
What's going on, Outriders? John, Josh, and Matt. We're a day late. Hopefully not $1 short.
Yay, we made it!
But we're still here, you guys. Don't worry, we didn't run off. We took a little bit of a delay. We kind of rolled the dice, and it ended up being a white dice because
the chances were pretty slim. Yeah.
So we were hoping that we were going to get a preview article from FFG because they like to drop that on Friday right after we record, and then, based on our schedule, we're like a week late.
They're like, fooled you.
Yeah. So
thanks for breaking with tradition, FFG.
No. There was a release article today.
Oh, stop.
New Lord of the Rings game coming our way. I'm pretty excited.
I'm kind of stoked for that. Yeah.
I gotta say, that I do appreciate the symmetry here, where Bethesda took Fallout and made it Skyrim with guns, and now FFG has taken Lord of the Rings and made it the Fallout game with swords. So it's good.
That's cool.
It works.
Yeah. It's very circular.
You gotta, makes sense.
There's some symmetry there. It's good. I like it.
But yeah, we decided to wait a day to see if we would get lucky and see the specialist article, but luckily our version of gambling and losing involves less cleanup, so...
Yeah, you'd think living in Vegas, we'd all be better at gambling, but no, guess not.
Yeah, no.
Wah.
Is this also the part where we talk about it looks like FFG has finally stuck a fork in Rune Wars?
Oh, yeah. That's kind of a big
discontinued.
deal.
The other announcement they made today is that they discontinued organized play for Rune Wars. And the rest of the tone of that article didn't sound too good.
Well, you were saying that they were using a lot of past tense.
A lot of past tense in there, yeah. This game has been a labor of love. It's like, ooh.
Is this the part of the show where we get to play Sarah McLaughlin and put out like in memoriam? Spend all your time waiting.
Don't ever do that again, ever.
I thought we were doing Arms of an Angel again or
Whoa.
something.
Wait, isn't that what that is?
Is that what that is?
Right?
Wow,
yeah.
you mangled that bad.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That was... Don't ever do that again. Ever.
We're doing Thursday karaoke
It's going to be a
from now
regular
on.
thing. I'm only doing Sarah McLaughlin from now on.
Yeah. Ooh,
wow.
Nice. Do you know more than one song? You probably do,
I don't even know that whole song.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so sorry, Rune Wars guys, but...
all four of you.
I mean, it's very big in Europe, I hear. But
I lived in Europe. I didn't see anybody play it.
Oh, I mean, were you actually going around and surveying? Because you were coming back about the time it was coming out, probably.
No, it was out.
Was it?
I remember seeing it at my friendly local
game
store.
So you did see it. Very popular in Europe.
Never being played, but,
From what I heard, the models were very bad. Very soft plastic, very...
They weren't the best. So I'm really... I think it was kind of a technical test to see what they can do with the Star Wars stuff.
Right.
And now that it is sailed off into the sunset for greener pastures, or the what was the Lord of the Rings, the land of beyond where the elves went to. Yeah, so we're going to get their development.
Oh, it's my Steve Carell moment that I'm failing.
Yeah, man, this is... We were just talking about how you were the Gandalf and with your beard and your wizard staff yesterday, and you're failing us.
I'm sorry.
You have no memory of that place.
Exactly. Fine, then keep your secrets.
Okay, you brought it back a little there.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, let's get back on track here. Star Wars. What do we got for Star Wars news?
So we've got the mid-season trailer for Resistance for the mid-season break that they usually do, and they also announced there's going to be a season 2. Has anybody been watching that? Anybody?
No, but I mean, just looking at the tone of the mid-season trailer, they're really ratcheting it up.
I've heard, that's usually. I mean, that's what they did with Rebels.
Yeah, so. The first half of the season was all like what John would call kitty crap, and it was just. A bunch of we're racers, and yay!
I'm not the target market. I know that.
No,
you are not the target demographic. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff's getting heavy in that show.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to try and catch up with it because.
Are we not going to talk about in related Star Wars news the increase in prices at Disneyland?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
The prices have gone up substantially.
Gotta pay for that Edge of Tomorrow, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
Edge of the Galaxy.
What it looks like.
That's through all the parks?
Through all the parks, it looks like a lot of the stuff's going up like $25, $30 a ticket. It's,
Wow.
It's...
Okay, well.
Right?
There you go, Matt.
I'm going to have fun paying the extra price for all my 0 children I have, since I am my only children. And I will have fun there.
That's all right.
I'll be your child.
Oh, actually, this will make it harder for families with lots of children to go to Disneyland, therefore improving my time that I have there. This is great. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Really, that's what this is all about. Just making the experience for 40-year-old
I will
children.
own Sleeping Beauty's castle. I will challenge all who come near.
Okay.
But so that's going on. We also have special estates. I think this is kind of maybe old news by the time you're hearing it. But the 24th, so we got 2 weeks still coming up, and it's going to lead into another topic we're going to talk about.
We'll talk
At
about
least
that
there's
in a
some
little bit.
news of some sort about specialists?
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right, well, we got a couple games in this week, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I
yesterday.
had one other thing I wanted to mention.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Sorry.
Self-plug here, but it's kind of Star Wars related. So I've been talking about it for the last, I don't know, since we started the podcast, doing a complete KOTOR run. I've started streaming a couple of times a week, and if anybody wanted to jump in on that, I've done about 2 episodes so far. We're just at the Jedi Academy portion of it. But you can find me on Twitch at Captain_Archer, just as it sounds, and stop by. We've been having a lot of fun hanging out, talking Star Wars and Legion and pop culture in general. But
Are you at the part where you killed younglings? Is that what you're doing right now?
that's an optional DLC that you can find somebody to mod in, I think, probably. But definitely, I'm doing a dark side playthrough, so that would definitely be something.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
as
was
per
wondering, 'cause
Josh's request,
I was watching
yeah.
I was watching a little bit of the Twitch stream.
Oh,
and you're
okay.
like, oh, I'm going to take these bounties and go kill all these people. I'm like, wait, what? Like, Matt, you're not going to, like, because, you know, I don't know if I should even say spoilers at this point for, like, a 15-year-old game.
Yeah, exactly, 15-year-old
But,
game, or
you know,
16 almost.
There's
now,
a lot
yeah.
of moral gray ground there with those bounties because, like, one of the women was, like, in basically
A waitress,
servitude
yeah.
and abused, and it's like, oh, no, I'm going to kill you anyways.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you monster.
But I'm still very early in. But the goal is I'm going to be doing a lot of the old retro Star Wars games. I think Republic Commando is going to be the next one.
When are you going to play Galactic Battlegrounds?
Oh, probably never.
When you go back and play TIE Fighter.
Dude,
Also, probably never.
I will do a
the
TIE Fighter
floppy
playthrough.
Dude, I would watch that.
Because I have TIE Fighter on my PC.
Damn.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I will
I'm
play
sorry.
TIE Fighter.
I needed to be at least in this side of the millennium, you know?
Because that's where the love of the gunboat started.
Yeah.
Right
No,
there,
for sure. I
you know.
remember. Yeah.
The gunboat, you know, was, you know, Agent Callus, let's get him in the game. I'm going to make him the gunboat for this game. Wow. I told you. I'm doing it.
Okay.
See how I just wedged it in there. Let's
Whoa.
do it, FFG.
Was that a wedge pun there?
Like a pun.
Nice.
He's still
Very
good
cool.
back there.
No. He's fantastic back there.
All right, so that's basically it for Star Wars news.
Boy.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, Josh.
Josh, what do you?
What?
How'd your game go yesterday?
Oh, my game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as I'm on the search for my LVO list, still searching. I think I may have found it finally. So, you know, I've been running Veer's bikes forever. It seems like, and yeah, I think I'm off that train now. I'm on the Daddy Vader train.
Okay.
Definitely. So
Vader's a lot of fun now.
yeah, he is.
Those Royal Guard make a big difference.
Well, I mean, Vader with the Royal Guards is really, really good.
He's
How many
much
Royal
more
Guards are we
survivable.
talking about here?
3. So I'm running 3 units
Max
of Royal
is-
Guards. Yeah. So I just top to bottom the whole list. Not a whole lot of upgrades in the list. So it's a fully tooled up Vader. The usuals, you know, force throw or saber throw reflexes, force push. 3 units of DLT troopers, so not, you know, little light on the core, you know.
Sure.
But, you know, they're good.
Yeah.
3 units of IRG, no electro staff, so kind of running a risk there.
I
only
was
running
gonna
with
ask.
6 hit points.
Okay.
And then tenacity and E-gear on all 3 of them, just so they can make sure that they have all of their moves, and they're not going to be hindered by terrain or anything. So when we do...
How'd the E-gear do for you?
Yesterday's game, it didn't really make a difference because there wasn't a lot of area terrain in the board that we had set up. But the game we played with John, where we had some area terrain,
Sure.
E-Gear's always been good because it just blows right.
Okay.
You can just blow right through it.
You didn't feel like I could have really used these 9
Actually, I
points.
did use it yesterday because
okay.
when I had set them up, because I was being a little bit cognizant of the just 6 wounds, I had set them up behind a barrier, behind a barricada. There we go. Yeah. So with the E-Gear, I was just able to just go right over it.
Okay.
Because you ignore difficult terrain. Barricades
Yeah.
are difficult terrain. So I just hopped right over it. And then to round the list out, didn't have a whole lot of points left in there.
No.
I didn't want to be too low on activations.
Did you do E-Web?
2 E-Webs.
2 E-Webs.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all of that jammed in there fits in at $7.95.
That sounds like a really
It's
fun
9
list,
activations.
actually. Wow.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
real
was a
good.
really balanced list. E-Webs were able to make up and cover some of the Vader slow movement. Sorry, I'm getting over a little cold here. You had a cough. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was really good. The strategy that I'm kind of running is to use that 3rd Royal Guard unit to just guardian off wounds of 2 of the Royal Guard that I want to use to get into melee.
Yeah, for sure.
The game itself, I don't know if the person I played necessarily had a lot of experience playing against Vader just because of what's been in the meta.
It's been a
lately.
while, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. So
All I
we
can think
played,
about now is how we're going to die of the plague now,
yeah,
John.
right.
We're totally doomed.
Father Nurgle protects. What are you talking about? Wrong
crap.
game.
I'm
Wrong
go
game.
Bathe myself in Lysol after this.
So we ended up with advanced positions, which got us a little bit closer to begin with, and then they were running a rebel list, and he was running Leia Chewie, so he wanted to get off like a brains and brawn because he was.
Okay.
Some of it was just like, hey, I'm trying this out, kind of stuff. So first move after advanced positioning people closer. With Leia, his first activation, he basically ran her a speed 2 move right towards me.
Oh.
So, first turn I played, and he didn't run coordinated bombardment first turn.
Okay.
Sure. It's not what I would have done.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, let's see if it didn't pay off for him. So, turn 1, seeing how close we were,
Yeah.
and I measured it, and I was already within charge range. So, turn 1, new ways to motivate him, take my wound, charge into Leia, and she was dead like the first activation of turn 2, which really...
I was going to ask if you're able
Yeah.
to motivate your Royal Guard to do anything.
Oh, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. But launching basically 2 units of Royal Guard up into...
Which activates tenacity, which is fantastic.
It was
I like
brutal.
Synergy. That's really what that
Imperial
is.
synergy?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
No, it's not.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Myth.
synergizing.
That
Yeah,
sounds like a lot of
Yeah.
synergy
It's great.
going on there.
It's not.
especially if you throw some palp in there.
Yeah, but it's much
so
more
many.
expensive than your synergy, so shut up!
I mean, but it's Vader.
Yeah.
It smells like synergy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Smells like Team Synergy.
Okay, shut up. I'm talking. You will be quiet now.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
I'm
Lord
talking
Vader.
to my 9-year-old. God. Anyways,
Can we have chicken tenders?
no. So, putting 2 units of Royal Guard basically right in his face ended up tar-pitting Chewie, tar-pitting his Wookiee warriors, because he rushed everybody into melee to kill the Royal Guard, which gave Vader an opportunity to mosey his ass on up, and he turned 4, he got into melee with Chewie, and just basically choppy-choppied him. So,
Choppy.
first time using Force Push. I never really used Force Push on Vader before. It was really cool. We have a 3D printed Y-Wing as the terrain. And, on the back of a Y-Wing on the engines, it's just kind of like the veins where there's space.
Yeah.
So we played that as difficult terrain. You could go through the veins as difficult terrain. So I had Vader on one side of one nacelle on, like, the right-hand side of the Y-Wing. His Chewie was engaged with what was left of one of the IRG units on the left side of the nacelle, both on the veins. So I moved Vader through the veins, pulled Chewie through the other veins and then ran into Melee and just started chopping.
It was
and,
very veiny, is what you're saying.
I'm so vain.
Yes.
You probably think this battle report is about you.
You're not going to sing it for us?
No.
Can we do a
that's
Sarah
your job.
McLaughlin
The
take
karaoke
on
master.
a Dolly Parton classic?
That's Carly Simon.
Hey, Carly Simon.
No, it was not Dolly Parton?
No!
Oh, okay. I don't know country.
You don't know rock and roll either.
Apparently not.
Carly Simon is right up there with John Denver, legends of country music.
There you go.
John Denver got what he deserved, by the way.
Sunshine on my damn shoulder. John
He also
Denver.
called Toledo, Ohio, my hometown, the town where they let the sleeping dogs lie. So F that guy.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
It means it's a really sleepy town
Okay.
that nobody likes.
Back in the 60s, it may have been. When he
Probably
was
half
relevant.
right.
Nobody steps on a church in my town.
Wait, what?
Nothing. Never mind.
Confused by this whole thing.
That's the point. Moving on.
Okay.
It's a strange.
You did that
defense of
one thing
Ohio.
with the. Yeah, that was really.
Hey, it's a state where the river's caught on fire twice. We got to take what we got, okay?
I just know that Corporal Klinger's from there. So
From Toledo, my hometown. Yeah.
Does everybody cross dress there?
No.
Or... Okay.
Do I?
I mean, you got the legs for it.
And I know how to use them.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you got a good game in, but
Yeah, it was a
didn't-
good game. It was some, it was one of those situations where people are still trying to figure out lists before LVO. The list I was running up against, Leia Chewie, 3 units of Z6s, some saboteurs, some snipers, an FD tower, an ATRT. There was a lot thrown in there that it was kind of let's just throw all this on the board and see how it all works kind of thing.
So lesson to be learned.
Don't
Charge Leia.
Don't charge Leia.
At Darth Vader and a bunch of IRG.
Yeah, that wasn't really smart.
She's got martial arts, but it's not really going to do anything against the guy with a lightsaber, who's literally the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Lessons learned.
Yeah, and red dice were hot last night. He had Chewie in melee with Vader. Vader's not going to kill in one turn.
Yeah.
He throws 5 red dice in melee with Chewie with tenacity and everything. 4 hits. 5 hits. Vader dodged 1 and then blocked all 4. And he just basically laughed in Chewie's face and then skewered him the next turn. So, yeah, it was not.
Well, speaking of skewering things,
are we going to talk about your singing some more?
Yeah. Right?
All right, let's do it.
We all kind of feel a little skewered by FFG today. We were kind of hoping to get some news about the release of the Specialists, and it kinda
Since they are now under 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what gets me a little upset about that. And
Do we want to break before we go into this?
Are we gonna? I mean, because we got 2 topics that we still got to get to. Are we gonna break and then just go?
Yeah, well,
because
we'll take a quick.
one topic rolls into the other.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and take our break.
We'll take a quick
here.
break here, and then we'll get into what's grinding our gears.
You're listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network, recorded on location at Power 9 Games. Whether you're looking for the latest releases from Legion, X-Wing, 40K, Magic, or any of our other extensive inventory of board and card games, head to power9games.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER10 to get 10% off your order. Plus, shipping is free on orders over $100. Now, back to the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. Okay, so we're recording a day late once again because we were hoping to get an article from FFG on the Specialists. Now, we know that we're not going to get it for about a week yet, right?
I just got to say one thing. Your voice and that pause coming back from the intro, immediately into my head popped my dad, and he's like, "I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed."
That's kind of
"Hello, Outriders." Okay.
Let's get through this.
Let's do this. Come on, because nobody really wants to have this talk. But
You realize that.
yeah, we kind of got to have this talk.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd come to some sort of come with some news for today regarding this, and it's not so much that we didn't have anything to talk about because I'm pretty sure our 43 episodes have shown that we can walk into this and not talk about anything important, really.
Okay.
Our listener
Sustained.
numbers show that too sometimes. Yeah.
But we were kind of hoping to have some some hard facts about what was coming out with
because
with Specialist.
it's the
Well,
rate,
here's a
it's
hard
the-
fact. It's going to be illegal for LVO.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I guess it kind of grinds my gear about this because we're trying to get together a list for LVO, and like Nick Freeman said, last time on the show with us, you want to have some practice with the list you want to run.
Muscle memory is huge.
Yeah,
like when I was going into a major tournament with X-Wing, if I hadn't played like 20 or 30 games with a list, I didn't feel confident taking it into a tournament. Here with Legion, what's the most you could play with a list in 11 days?
For those of us who
like
have
4 or 5
jobs,
games
and,
at the most, maybe.
I think that when you make list changes in X-Wing, though, they're just exponentially more important than so we're talking about add-ons for units here with the Specialists.
Sure. Yeah.
So the main focus of your force probably isn't going to change. We're getting a few tweaks and options, but if you're talking about changes in X-Wing, we're talking entire ships and pilots and things and their abilities.
Well, I mean, if you're throwing, if you want to throw 3 officers into your list and attach them to your core units, now that's 60 points. A unit's got to come out. So now you're talking about activations, which order of operations of who goes first and does what when.
Not to mention
you're changing a lot. Of
Okay.
stuff.
Not to mention 2 more potential command cards that we don't
There's
even
that
know
too.
that we
That's
don't
fair.
even know what exists yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of. It's not just minor tweaks. I mean,
Okay.
And for some lists, like my list, going from 9 activations to 8, that's a big change. I mean, your margin for error gets a lot smaller the fewer units you've got in your list.
I guess my question then is, are these units going to be impactful enough that you're going to want to change your list before you go to a major event?
Well, I personally don't plan on it, but I also don't have any illusions of grandeur. I don't think I'm going to.
You're
be
going to the top table, John. Quit acting.
I will
We've
be
already
shocked.
rigged it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already rigged
Okay,
it.
Wait, we
well,
did.
hey,
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it, but I
Correct.
don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But I think it would be nice to have some practice with it, whether or not it is
Sure.
meta shaping. And even if I don't plan on using that unit, there might be a lot of people who are.
Okay, that's fair.
And I'd
So-
like to be able to have some anticipation of what they have.
Is it the 11 days then that you have the problem with? Or would you rather see a 30-day cooldown?
I think a
for
30-day
new
window.
units?
I think a
Okay.
30-day window of, all right, these are the units that are out. This is what you have to play with. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And based on the little bit that we've had previewed from this unit, some units they preview a little bit more than others. This one they really haven't previewed much.
Right. Yeah. And with the 11 days, I mean, that works for X-Wing, 11 days, because John can come over to my house, we can roll out a mat, and we can grind through 4 or 5 games in the span of 3 or 4 hours if we're playing quickly, right? Because there's
Sure.
not a lot of tear down and reset and everything like there
Yeah.
is for Legion. If John were to come over to my house to play Legion, I'd have to find terrain. I'd have to get a bigger space. There's a lot of stuff on the table. You're probably going to want to reorient the board some so you're not playing the same board over and over again.
Or you could just come over to beautiful Power 9 Games here in North Las Vegas,
requires
Nevada,
me
which
to-
has all.
I mean,
yeah.
which requires me to make a 30-minute drive in and a 30-minute drive back, and you got to go to a store. Getting enough games in to get that muscle memory in Legion is a much more laborious process.
So you're
than
not going to
it
be changing
is-
your list for these guys?
Absolutely not. No,
Okay.
I'm not. They're not going in.
Since I change my list every time I play, anyways, I am absolutely putting them in. I want a medic
You are.
for Vader and Palp.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So what are you going to take out?
No, I don't know. I'll figure
I mean,
it out.
we don't know. We don't even know how much the medics are.
Yeah,
and that's where.
right.
I mean, you can't even start theory crafting what you're going to do because
That's true. Maybe
you
it
don't
won't
know
fit
the
at
prices.
all.
The problem that I have is one of it kind of screws the game stores a little bit.
Okay.
Tell
me more.
I've talked a little bit, and if you think I'm full of it, feel free to say so because you would know more about the game store perspective than I would.
Your girlfriend's sitting in the corner, so I don't want her punching me in the face for calling you out. And
She'll punch
your
me
crap.
in the face.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. You take care of it.
Yeah. Nobody puts my girlfriend in the
Oh, I mean, she put herself there.
Yeah,
so.
she did. Well, and she's not a nobody.
No. No. All right. Continue.
Anyways,
Yes.
see, look, people, I can be soft and caring.
Oh, he's fuzzy.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's an act.
it's all a facade. Yeah.
What? What did you
Sorry,
just
it's all a facade. I know.
Okay. Was that an inner joke that got out in the wild?
What do you remember the Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau movie where they were both ex-presidents?
Vaguely.
Right?
Yeah.
Grumpy old men?
No,
No,
where they were the presidents.
Yeah.
Grumpier old men.
No.
No. Is that the only movie you know with Walter?
Anyways, William
Matthau?
Hurt is in this movie as the current vice president, and he plays like a Dan Quayle character. It's a late 90s movie, so he plays like a complete idiot. And it turns out at the end there's a big conspiracy, and that he was like making a power play to be the president, get the president to resign, yada, yada, yada. And he's at the very end of the movie, he looks at Matthau and Lemon, and he's like, "You two thought I was stupid. It was all just a facade." And so, anyways,
okay,
really, really obscure movie
I
reference
knew
to
you
something
had to
that
have
only I would remember.
a deliberate
but
reason why you
yes,
said that.
Yes. Anyways,
I know you to be an educated man, so
anyway, going back to my point. Here's the thing, okay? At least for me, and I would assume there's other people out there, especially with something like this. You know, we've seen people saying, "Well, I'm going to run 6 officers in a unit," right? You could viably buy 2 of these or 6, right?
sure.
Okay, so at this point, like I haven't pre-ordered any because 1, I don't know how many I want, and 2, I don't know how many I need because I'm not going in and pre-ordering anything sight unseen, right?
Okay.
Without knowing costing and kind of we've seen from the rules reference guide what some of the abilities are going to be by the keyword descriptions, but we don't know any of the variables. So, treat, 1 wound for 3 times, or if it's 2 wounds for 4 times, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know.
I think
no
I get where
idea.
you're going now.
Okay.
Okay.
But now here's the thing. Okay. They're shipping now.
Right.
The amount of stock you're going to get in 2 weeks is locked in. More or less.
Asterisk.
Okay. But if I walked up to you, and I know you order more than just your pre-orders.
We try to keep it close.
But if
yeah.
I walked in a week from now when that article drops and goes, "Matt, put me down for 6."
Yeah, that might be tough.
Exactly.
That might be real tough.
So now where am I going to go to buy my stuff?
Oh, I don't
Amazon?
know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That place.
Yeah, because, I'm brand loyal enough to you that I'm not going to spend any money at any of the other stores in town if I don't have to, because I don't like some of the other stores. But that's besides the point.
Well, they don't like you either.
I don't like me. late at night when I'm up staring at the ceiling, I don't like me. Okay, so I like me. Caboose. Anyway. What, red versus blue? Right? See, now I'm just gonna reference.
I thought that was a
everything.
Buffalo Bill reference.
No. Well, yes.
I like me hard. Wow, that actually was.
That was really good.
Yeah. Okay.
I like me hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I haven't really talked about it on the show a lot. It's something that I've been talking about more on Facebook and Discord, but I don't think FFG is doing the local game stores any favors with the way they structure organized play.
Okay.
And I don't think the way that they've been releasing information lately, because this isn't the first time we've seen an article, a preview article come out after units have started shipping. It didn't really matter as much with the other articles because they were kind of companion articles to IRG and stuff that had already been out. So we knew what all the cards were. We knew costings. We knew all of that. And also because the way, like E-Webs and Towers, I think, the turrets, they didn't do the preview articles until like 2 days before they released. But it was just, the only 2 upgrade cards in there were 2 generators, and they talked about those in the release articles.
Right.
There was really no reason to put out,
there,
right?
yeah.
There's a lot of mystery with this one.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think they're doing the game stores any favors. I don't know if it's a conscious thing, but I think the way that they've structured organized play by taking store championships and regional championships out of the equation has taken that hardcore competitive scene and moved it outside of the store realm. Nothing stops you from having a winter championship for Legion, but that's all on you, right?
Sure.
Not every store is going to do that. And I think if you look at games like Warhammer and War Machine and games like that, they all live off of the in-store competitive experience. The casual 4-week branching narrative is great, but I want an organized play structure that forces me to be practicing for store championships and regionals and
well, that
things
just
like that.
entirely depends on the game you're playing.
Sure.
Yeah. War Machine definitely thrives on that kind of interaction.
Right.
40K
your biggest weekends for 40K
can be a coin flip.
I was going to say, Warhammer doesn't do anything as far as the competitive development. That's all done by a separate third-party entity.
Sure, but that's where you have casual nights for Warhammer and but you have a competitive, an ITC or something like that, and you got 25 tables of Warhammer. Maybe that's hyperbole, but you've got 25 people playing Warhammer. Yeah, it's a big draw. Games like this live and die by the competitive scene. Anyways, side tangent.
Okay.
It's just one more reason. It's just one more way that the FFG, I don't think, is doing the game stores any favors with this game.
So if you want, I can talk you through the process
Sure.
and give you the other side of the counter
That's
view
fine.
on this.
Yeah.
But basically, what I do is the second we get information about a new unit releasing for Legion, in this case, I go and create a new item up for pre-order in our system, which is available through the website or in store, and I guess, based on the article, how popular it's going to be. During that time, I basically interact with our little community here and talk to people about it. Is this something you're going to be ordering? So it'll help inform the decision on how many we actually end up ordering. Now that we're 2 weeks out, we can adjust on the fly a little bit if it's going to be more popular than we thought or less popular. We could winnow it down a little bit. What really hurts is if it becomes really popular and we get allocated, because that's when it would have been nice to know, okay, Specialists is going to be huge. Because this is the one of the few that I think has a potential for it. This is going to be, everybody's going to need 6 copies of this for their list because everybody's going to want multiple specialists.
Right.
And we're getting allocated. You're getting the 10 boxes you requested, 2 months ago, and that's it. And then there might be reprints coming. Yeah. So, yes, if we could have gotten a little bit more heads up about what is entailed in these kits, it would definitely help us, order smartly. But this is, the tug of war of the industry in general.
Right. And I think there's also something to be said with, it's been a while since we had any, solid news to discuss as far as releases and previews. Now they're going to do, and we're kind of at a lull. And, talk's going to start picking up a little bit closer to LVO. But now you run, why not drop an article and kind of, every time they drop an article, there's a good 3 or 4 days of discussion on the forums and discussion on Discord, and we talk about it, and Fifth Trooper talks about it, and Notorious Scoundrels talks about it, and everybody's talking about it. Nick Freeman's doing articles, and fill the gap. It's and I've been critical of FFG, and I don't know.
No.
To be fair, I don't know if it's FFG or Asmodee that's making these calls on when these things go out.
Could be. Yeah.
So I don't want to just lay this at FFG's feet, but this is a talking to your player base issue, and this isn't the first time we've talked about this. That information probably should flow a lot better to the player base.
I wonder how much back end they have devoted to that kind of thing at Fantasy Flight, because they do have
Probably
a lot
not
of
much.
properties that they're, yeah, exactly. I don't think they have
OP
that much.
for this game, I think, is like 5 people.
Honestly, right.
And
maybe as we demonstrate that the community needs this kind of, attention or feedback back and forth, they'll devote more resources, and I hope that they will see, results from that they can justify allocating them. Legion's always selling out every single tournament. It's the major event that's being held. I'm really excited to see what their numbers look like from Gamma this year, to see what the sales are looking like, because they usually do like a year in review brief. I would love to see where Legion comes in on their scale of products.
And it's not just how many people you have, but especially when you're talking about public relations and communications plans and things like that. Are they college interns that have been graduated for 3 years?
Sure.
Or are they people that have crafted communications plans and guided social media strategies and all of that kind of stuff their entire life?
Yeah.
Right?
There's also the fact that FFG, anybody that's talked to anybody that works there, they're notorious for, I cannot speculate on any future products, blah, blah, blah. They have a full script they just launch into immediately.
Right.
So I'm sure it's been drilled in their heads, and they're probably gun shy. So I've been trying to get one of the guys that I know is on the playtest for Fantasy Flight, come on the show. I mean, not to give any spoilers or anything, just kind of tell us about the process, because I think that'd be really interesting. But I got to run it through, the PR guys.
Sure. And now that they're part of Asmodee,
I'm sure that gums up everything too.
Sure.
But I think they're really reticent to get on and talk about anything like that.
And I don't know who they have doing PR. I don't know their backgrounds or resumes.
I'm sure you got them fired.
I hope not. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I think it's a place that you really need to up your game.
Yeah.
One question I haven't had, who knows if this has anything to do with it, but how much do you think the influx of Tabletop Simulator would have to do with the late release of news for some of these products?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good point.
That's definite, because it probably has a lot to do, because one of the reasons with X-Wing, they had a module called Vassal, and they were actually forbidden to put any card text on anything. You had to manually enter it yourself, is because FFG, essentially, from what I understand, said they were going to give them a cease and desist on the game because that's copyrighted material.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
If FFG wanted to go and put a cease and desist on Tabletop Simulator, I'm sure they could. I'm sure Steam would be very, very open to that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, FFG wants you buying their stuff, and if you're playing it on Tabletop Simulator, you have no need to buy any of their stuff.
Yeah, which with something like this, I think that has some ramifications to why they would
Thanks,
not
LJ.
release right away.
Way to go, man! You
Captain of the Titanic.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think FFG is as litigious as something like GW, because GW would have been all over a lawsuit on that thing. But
I think that's a great point. That they probably are slow rolling a lot of info because
could be
maybe they don't want people on Tabletop Simulator to walk into LVO having practiced a list for 2.5 months that you and I would only get. Nothing stops us from downloading Tabletop Simulator, but that's another thing.
I don't practice something until it hits the shelves.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. But maybe somebody doesn't have the capability to play Tabletop Simulator, and they
the technical know-how, John.
That's more my problem. Look, I almost have Tetris figured out. I think in Minesweeper. Just kidding. Nobody has Minesweeper figured out. Let's all face it. Like, we're just randomly hitting squares.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No strategy there.
The first square you hit in Minesweeper, there was no strategy to that whatsoever.
Square. Yes.
Isn't there like a button you can hold down, and if you mouse over it, it'll like pop up a period somewhere on that interface if there's a mine underneath it?
Ooh, you're
I
pretty
think there's
advanced.
a hack and a cheat for it. I'm pretty sure.
Goodness.
I literally just click a bunch of times, and if I make it like 10 clicks without hitting anything, then I'm like, oh, let me get strategic about this. Otherwise, I just hit reset.
That's also how your Tinder works, too, I think.
It's farmers only, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Anyways, next topic.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, we're hoping that we'll see something within the next week.
Sure.
LJ posted
he
posted a thing on Facebook with somebody who had messaged FFG or tweeted them or something, and
yeah. Somebody goes, any news?
Hopefully next week.
Hopefully next week. Yeah, hopefully so. But there was another thing that popped up, and it's kind of related to this. But Nick Freeman posted this up in the Legion forums a little over a week ago, and something I can definitely talk about, and I'm sure you guys have some input too. But he posited that there have been so many questions of shops not carrying the product, leading people to concluding the game is failing. But has anyone stopped to consider the shops might be the point of failure? The number of people interested in the game is high. The social media following for Legion has surpassed the social media following for War Machine, Malifaux, Infinity, Guild Ball, etc. And the game isn't even a year old. The upcoming tournaments have a wait list as big as their player cap. All the indicators are that the game is doing well. I'm not worried about the game. I'm worried about the FLGSs. What do you think he's trying to say there, John?
It's your fault, Matt.
Oh, okay.
It's entirely your fault.
Yeah, my bad.
You're ruining the world. So, good job.
I can give you the store take on this, but
Please.
I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys think.
Well, I mean, I kind of went into it,
because you've been part of this.
I think part of it is communication flow. I think part of it was the reprint issue that kind of blunted the momentum of the game right at a time where you were starting to get that critical mass.
Sure.
The timing of the X-Wing 2.0 announcement took a lot of wind out of the sails, so that's another unforced error, I think.
I think this is completely unrelated. I think he's trying to say that Legion is doing well, but we're not seeing it at the stores. Why is that?
Sure. Well, it's a very difficult game to play in the stores. One, I don't think the OP program is that great. It's nice. But I think in terms of what people are expecting, a 4-week-long narrative mini campaign that doesn't really, some of it's escalation depending on the operation, but it doesn't really translate to what you're doing in the tournament scene, right? Like, I can't come to a Saturday event where you're doing one of FFG's OP operations and get in reps for LVO.
I mean,
because
if you're doing
right?
the thing. I mean, the last several months we've been practicing for LVO exclusively.
Sure, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
It's do I play this one-off event or do I practice my 800-point meta list that I'm trying to build?
I feel like his article is fairly anecdotal, though, because it's hard
That's
to take
true.
the sample size. Now, granted, he lives in a very large metro area where he probably has a better grasp on what the community at large looks like, and he's probably better ingrained into the community, wargaming community. But I would say here at this store, we still have a vibrant community, and I don't know what other areas look like, but
and where I was going with it's difficult for the stores is if you're an FLGS that doesn't have a heavy wargaming population already, you don't have terrain, you don't have space, you don't have all of the things that make this game. Yeah, you could put cereal boxes and Tupperware out on the table and call them buildings and terrain, but I don't want to play.
What? There's a forest planet, there's a sand planet, there's a water planet, there's a cereal planet now.
It's killer. Anyways, but I'm also, one of the reasons that I started printing 3D terrain for the store is I'm tired of seeing Imperial Aquilas and skulls and Gothic crap everywhere, right? I mean, it's Star Wars. Yeah, there's skulls in Star Wars. There's probably, it's a galaxy far, far away. I'm sure there's a Gothic 40K planet somewhere out there. But, it's incumbent upon the player base to go and enrich the experience.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
You've got to have somebody
take some ownership for your community.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I mean, and granted, I'm comparing a game that's almost 30 years old with a game that's less than a year old. Mm-hmm. But when Kill Team came out, it came with terrain specific for that game, right?
True.
If you bought a starter set, it came with pieces of terrain. If you bought the core set, it came with a big piece of terrain.
Are you forgetting the barricades?
Stop. I'm not. It doesn't even warrant. It doesn't even rate one for that.
Well, at last we can agree on something.
Right? I wonder if FFG is overextending themselves because today we just got a Lord of the Rings announcement, right? Are they devoting too much time to being very broad but not very deep as far as what they offer?
Somewhere there's
GW.
There's like the one Armada player who's screaming in agreement.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
But GW does what? Sigmar, 40K, 30K, and then what? Blood Bowl. I mean,
Necromunda, Blood Bowl, Shadespire,
but
it's all using the same
Adeptus,
stuff.
Titanicus,
right?
They diversify themselves.
They diversify themselves, but if I could take a mini out of. Hell, now I can take a mini out of Age of Sigmar, and with some of the Slanesh stuff and stuff, I could put it into 40K.
Sure.
And then I could take it out. I could probably put it into Blood Bowl too.
But they're doing everything with their own IP, other than their short foray into Middle Earth. Like,
but it's all the same. But it's all the same IP.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, which leads them to be able to multitask their production lines and things like that. Not having all of that support stuff that GW has makes it incumbent on your community to take a blank 3x6 and make it Star Wars. And and the pictures that LJ has been sharing for LVO and the tables are awesome.
Oh yeah.
But that's not anything. I mean, we saw what happened when FFG said, "Here's your Star Wars terrain." was trash.
But I don't think that's the onus on FFG for having too diverse of a game lineup. I think that's more the difference between a board game, a card game, and a war game. A tabletop war game requires all those extra things.
Yeah,
sure.
You have to have a dedicated community to do that. And I don't think that's incumbent on FFG or friendly local game stores to have that.
Yeah, but if you're not spending your time and resources into doing sculpts and everything for Rune Wars, maybe you can have that team and that factory working on Star Wars terrain.
Good news, friends.
Yeah, right. No, but I'm just, there's ways that I feel that they could be focusing more on, and this is their first time really doing Rune Wars was kind of a trial run for Legion, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, probably for them, there's a lot of you don't know what you don't know, which is understandable. But the fact that there's not a whole lot to enrich the in-store game experience other than the OP content that we have right now, that's a big ask of a brand new community.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Just so you know, I do have the answer to this.
Okay, good.
Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
It is 42.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the big thing is that he was wondering, is the point of failure the FLGS? And it very well could be. Because it comes down to bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm devoting time, resources, energy to promoting games. We're very lucky that we have a pretty large floor space area and an owner that happens to love Legion. You need a certain amount of turnover to justify stocking products, and that can be really tough. You were telling me stories about how you're cruising around on Black Friday picking up Legion from other stores in town because they were closing out of it.
Yeah, well, that store also had no terrain.
Right.
Didn't even really have the space to support a 6x3. I mean, that store supported X-Wing, and it was always tight, and that's on a 3x3 with no terrain. That store was primarily a card game shop.
Okay.
And they do great for Yu-Gi-Oh! and Pokemon and Magic and stuff like that here in town. But yeah, the owner was quite disgusted that he's like, I can't even give it away.
Yeah, it's not right for their clientele. You got to know the people that are shopping at your store.
And that's no fault of his.
Yeah. But we have times, and this is just beyond Legion specific, we'll have games that we like the Fallout miniature game. I was so excited for that to come out because the campaign seemed like a lot of fun. We've basically killed off all plans for it. Number one, because we couldn't get product for it, and you can't grow a community. Guess what? You need your community shopping to support the reasons why you're bringing these products in, investing your resources buying these games. If you can't get them, you can't sell them. You're not making any money. Guess what? You got to kill it. Find something else to fill the void.
And that's where that snag with Core Troopers over the summer kind of blunted that momentum.
Right.
Too. Yeah,
and as you said,
I mean, you can't stock what they don't have.
Right. No, absolutely. And as you said, this is a little bit more resource intensive game. You need the table space. You need terrain. You need to be able to sit down and play that. Obviously, the other guys you were talking about, they just tried to keep it on the shelves and sell it to people that are like garage gamers, which can work. I mean, it's definitely worked for 40K for a long time. But Legion, I think we're trying to build something different here and having people a little bit more engaged with their local communities. But there aren't too many places left in town that will carry it because it's just not seeing the turnover. And maybe that's what they're seeing out in the larger wild of, the U.S., is game stores aren't able to make money off of it, so they stop carrying it. And that could be a result of online sales or things like that. It could be many different reasons.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think the amount that companies like Amazon, these big box sales, or people buying directly from FFG, like how much of that do you think has an impact on what FLGSs are looking at?
I think for small, so we've got a really great community here, and they understand, hey, support the places you play, try to shop there. We try to make it, we have member rewards, that kind of thing. But it absolutely takes a toll. We have a commercial that runs for the game. I get a couple of orders a month, from people that are online. The last two I sent out were actually from people that tried to get the Wookiees, and Amazon canceled their order, and I was able to fulfill it and send it out.
Hooray!
I'm sure they paid a little bit more for it because we can't compete with Amazon prices, but it just goes to show that, some of the online shopping can definitely take a dent out of what your FLGS is. That being said, it is a great resource for people that maybe, we've got one of the guys, he's out in Alabama or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's no store within an hour of him. So he's able to get at least the stuff so he can play with his brother-in-law. And that's cool. Hey, it's a much more accessible that way.
Yeah, I think location's part of it too.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Coming from the Northern Virginia FFG scene, which is vibrant to say the least, and then coming here and, they would get 25, 26 guys on a Tuesday night to play X-Wing.
You tried so hard.
What?
You were trying to get the Tuesday night flights thing to go here.
I know.
And it just never really took off. Yeah.
And
guess what? Our X-Wing section is shrinking as a result.
Sure.
We've got a small core of dedicated X-Wingers, and we'll order enough product to cover them, but we won't be
The store that I played with out in Virginia would have 26 guys on a Tuesday night, and then here
I'm sure they had a massive X-Wing section.
Fight to get 8.
Yeah.
Really?
It's part of it, and part of its organization and part of its posturing, what days you're having these things on. X-Wing tournaments would be on like Saturday afternoon. Sorry, I got better things to do on a Saturday afternoon in Vegas than push plastic spaceships around, right?
Yeah, just about
guess what I'm doing tomorrow.
You're going for a bike ride.
Well, I'm going to push plastic
Army men.
And then you're going to come
around.
play Legion.
Yeah, I'm going to play Legion, so.
Yeah.
What's wrong with doing that, huh? What are you trying to say? Trying to nerd shame me?
Exactly. Yes,
That's
nerd
fine.
shame yourself.
I have.
Is this like the scene in Full Metal Jacket where he's like, choke yourself? Yeah. Is that what this is right now?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Not with my hand. Anyway.
Practicing my Sith powers.
But yeah, location has some to do with it too.
Sure.
Obviously, I think Nick and LJ, what they talk about is, it's commute. There may be some locations that have great support for Legion in the LA area, but it's in the LA area, so it might be a 3-hour drive away for all you know, depending on traffic. So there's a lot that goes into it, but
sure.
I think this is, at this point of the game, it's just a very resource-intensive thing for a community as a whole, not just the store.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the store working hand in hand with your customers who will go and, we're sitting right here on the table. We've got a Y-wing that I 3D printed and a U-wing that we use as terrain that somebody else bought and then has weathered to make it not look so Kenner-ish. That's things that people from your community have gone out and done on their own initiative because there's a hole that needs to be filled to make it a Star Wars environment on the tabletop that just doesn't exist yet. Officially,
John spent a lot of time building Tatooine buildings for us when we first started.
Right.
And, because, we spent literally thousands of dollars getting 40K terrain because it was available.
Yeah.
I don't, unfortunately, have that hobby bent to actually scratch build buildings. I tried it once. It was horrifying.
Yeah.
I think I came up with a square toaster, but
Just don't get into contracting, okay?
No,
don't ever design buildings because I feel
I'll make sure to hit him with the quote first and get him to pay half, and then I'll just run away into the dark.
3D printing has knocked a hole into that.
Yeah.
But like when we had Dave Lawson on, he said he has 10 printers running at the same time.
Yeah.
And the printers he uses are $700 a piece.
I'm honestly hoping to pick up some of the leftover sets that those guys are going to be bringing up for the tables
that would
here.
Be great.
Hey, instead of packing up and taking it home, just sell them to me.
Yeah. We'll
Come on, buddy.
It.
Those that aren't being given away, which is going to be a lot of them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if I win any of that from the giveaways, guess where it's going to go?
Yeah.
It's going to come right here.
I'm really looking forward to that.
We're
going to have a big Vegas contingent there, and
Yeah.
I think we're going to inherit some nice terrain. So I'm excited.
We got places 50 through 64 all locked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Lining up for
the
wooden
fight
spoon
for
battles.
50 is on, man. Yeah.
So we got any Patreon news at all?
I think we're all caught up on that. So yeah, good to go.
deal.
Yeah, thanks guys. We had a couple new people drop in the Discord that had become members but hadn't actually joined in. So new faces popping
Awesome.
in and chatting. So that's good.
So we talk nice and welcome all the people that sign up for Patreon. Do we ring the bell of shame for the people that unsubscribe?
No,
we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. No, because
Yeah. I know. I'm just being
real
snarky.
life can be a real son of a
No, I
bitch
get it.
sometimes. So
Yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna.
get it.
You know,
I'm just being snarky. that's
sorry,
all.
I like to support your podcast, but the cancer is aggressive. It's like, oh Jesus, sorry, man, we didn't mean to call you out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna go with a furlough federal shutdown joke, but Jesus,
Oh,
man.
okay.
I just
assumed-
went
Wow.
full dark with
You
it.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Woo.
When I've been
Matt.
playing, it's that dark side playthrough.
Yeah,
I
right.
just- yeah.
Hey, since we're like all workshopping dark side ideas here,
Yeah.
I just thought I'd run by a few Sith names for you. So, working on my force choke ability.
Yeah.
How about Darth Michael Hutchins?
Oof.
Darth David Carradine?
Wait.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to go for. Yes.
I mean, if you're doing Darth David Hutchins, is there like a belt involved here,
Oh,
or
it's just force choke. That's the Darth.
but like does
Darth
it like
David
manifest
Carradine.
as like a spectral belt around your neck? Is that how we're gonna go with this?
Hopefully not.
God, no.
All right, listeners, you're still around. That's our. That's
Thanks,
probably
guys.
that's probably the
Yeah.
moment you probably want to
Yeah.
pull up to the drive-through in the the fast food store. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week.
You've been listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
For more from the Outriders, make sure you like us on Twitter at Legion Outriders, subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Legion Outriders, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.